All right, what's up? Welcome to another class. Today we are going over external rotation of the shoulder. As you can see here, you're gonna need some kind of bench. If you don't have a bench, like a couch or anything really will work. Could get you off the ground a little bit elevated. I have two yoga blocks here. You may or may not need them depending on how much range of motion that you have. Might need it to make a little bit harder with the extra yoga blocks. And then I have a tennis ball to just create more tension, okay? So, per usual, our routine is warm up with cars, pails and rails to get really into that capsule, some exercises to work to get more space after we've gotten into the capsule, and then kind of a harder car to save the space, all right? So, getting into the shoulder today, I'm gonna start in a tall kneeling position. If this position is too much for you, you can do it in a seated position as well, okay? So we're gonna start with our scapular warm-ups, hands by our side here, and we're starting in elevation first, so full ranges of motion with nothing else moving. So elevate those scapula first, then let's go forward, round, depress down, pinch back and elevate. Notice my arms are locked out the whole time. No rounding of the elbows. Nice, smooth reps. We're going for 3. Pinch back, elevate one more time. Round forward, depress down, pinch back, elevate. Going the other way now. Pinch back, depress down, round forward. Elevate, pinch back, depress down, round forward. One more time, elevate, pinch back, press down, round forward, and elevate. Good. All right, going right into our shoulder joint now. Okay, so we're locking our arm out, just moving the shoulder joint, nothing else. Coming across the midline as we elevate. Once we get up to our top position, we're going to internally rotate as I reach back towards this back wall. Hand by my side, same thing in reverse. Straight back, externally rotate as we reach up high, and down, that's 1. Flex all the way up, internally rotate as we reach back. Again, nothing else moves. Silence in the rest of the body while we're rotating our joint. Extension back, externally rotate as we reach across and down. If you're having trouble keeping our scapula down, don't come this close. Come out a little wider, that'll help keep your scapula down as you internally rotate, reach back. And same thing in reverse, extension, externally rotate. And again, I can get here pretty close, but if you're having trouble looking like this, just stay a little bit wider as you come by, okay? Same thing other side, locking our arm out, karate chop that hand, abduct across, get into flexion. Once you hit that spot, that dead end, that's when we start to internally rotate as we reach back. That's half. Unravel as I reach up. Again, notice my scapula, nothing's moving. This takes practice. It's not something that you're just gonna roll out of bed for the first time if you've never taken a class before and be able to do it. This control takes time, and it's our first goal here, is the control of these joints and not having anything else move. Once we can get that down, now we can try harder in our pails and rails and some of the exercises that are actually gonna drive some stimulus, but we have to be able to control the motion first. Okay, so now, second to last one, elbow here. Need our elbow pits to be facing forward the whole time. Any kind of rotation from the elbow pits actually coming from the shoulder. So, abduct across as much as you can, kind of rotating our forearm out. Flex the elbow. Rotate across an abduction, turn just to be your forearm and extend. Rotate back across, flex. And again, I'm saying across because there's like this midline that you should be shifting over when you go back and forth because of the elbow's positioning. Come across, good. And same thing now in reverse. Stay pronated as I come up, supinate across, extend. Pronate, again, notice my elbow pit. Nothing's moving. I'm not coming here, that would be from my shoulder. Rotating across, elbow pit still going forward. I can't remember if that's 2 or 3, so we're gonna do one more. Nice, I'm gonna sit down on my back of my heels for this last one. Wrists are tough, okay? And again, if our first rule is that our first goal of our mobility cars exercises is that I wanna move this joint without anything else, this becomes one of the more hard ones because everybody wants to rotate this forearm as I'm rotating here. And this rotation, any piece like this, is the elbow. So if you can imagine your phone on your forearm while we're going through this, that phone should not fall off because it's just coming from the elbow if it is. So if I'm just moving my wrist like I'm going to do here, nothing should move here. Okay, so we're going to do both at the same time. If you need to do one at a time because it's too hard, do so. Okay, so we're going to flex in first, and this hand's got to stay flat. Okay, no rotation because that's coming from the elbow. So even when I come adduct in, extend, my hand's staying flat, extend, abduct, flex. I'm trying to make the biggest circle here I can with my fingers as I go through. That's one, extension, abduction, flexion, abduction, two, extension, adduction, flexion, going the other direction. Abduction, extension, adduction, flexion. Abduction, extension is the most important part. Push and get into extension. Adduction, let's just go one more time. Abduction, extension, pull all that fiery stuff right on the back side, and done. Okay, so everything here should be good and warmed up. We're going into our pails and rails set. So again, pails and rails stands for positional angular isometric loading and regressive angular isometric loading. Okay, so all that means is that we're going to get ourselves in a stretch, full range of motion of whatever we're doing. Today it's external rotation. We're going to put pressure on both sides of the tissue. We're going to be set up like this, lying down. We're going to go this way and this way to try to produce force to kind of show the body like, hey, I can produce force at this end range. So we're not in a position that's going to hurt us, give us some more space. Because anytime we're like tight, that's just the central nervous system going like, hey, I don't trust you to go any farther than that, so you're not going to be able to. And then we're going to stay safe. So by producing force at end range from both sides of the tissue in a certain angle, in a certain position, you're showing the body, hey, we're strong here, it's all good, give us some more space, and you won't be so tight. And over time, that's when you get some range of motion. Okay, so when we get into the stretch, they're isometric, so they're not going to be going anywhere. Internally is where all this work is going to happen. So it shouldn't look like a whole lot, but it's going to feel super tough on the inside here. Okay, so getting into the stretch, okay, so external rotation of the shoulder, we're going to get into a quadruped stretch with our arm out to the side here. Okay, so I'm going to have one yoga block. My elbow is going to be out to the side, and I can get up. So I'm going to put in this stretch here. Hips are stacked on top of the knees. My shoulder is on top of this wrist, and I'm right out to the side here. So from this stretch, I want to feel a big stretch in my chest here, because that's what's being stretched. That's the tissue that's being understretched. If I feel a pinch back in my shoulder, come back out of it a little bit, because we don't want to feel any closing angle pain. That means something's going on. We only want to feel it in the side that's being stretched. Okay? So I already know I need to get into a higher position to start, because when I hit my rails, I want to be in a position where I barely can move out of it. If I'm flat, I'm going to be able to fly. So after the first set, we're going to do two. After the first set, if you notice you're cranking way off the mat, grab yourself a yoga block and try it again. I am going to grab this tennis ball here so I can create some more tension. And I'll start with this angle. The second time through, we'll kind of show it at a different angle just to make sure you can get both sides. Okay, so let's get ourselves in the stretch. We want to feel that chest tissue. So really want to find that stretch, because that's where we're pushing first. So stay in the stretch as I'm talking to you here. Okay, so our first stimulus that we're going to do is internal rotation. So I'm going to say inhale, trap that air low, and with 10% effort, you're going to internally rotate into the mat here. So that stuff that's being stretched, you're going to use just your bicep rotating through there into the ground. You're going to be heavy on your elbow, but heavier on the yoga block because you're trying to internally rotate. This is the position that you'd see if the bench wasn't there. When I say flip after we build up some tension and count to 10, you're going to do rails effort, which is the position we're trying to work on today, external rotation, And again, shouldn't move, but you're going to try as hard as you can with nothing else moving to come off the bench. Okay? And we're going to hold that for a count of 10 today too. So the first set, we're just going to go to about 70% intensity so you can kind of understand how it's going. And then we'll get into it a little bit more after that. Okay? All right, so we're in that stretch. You've been feeling it the whole time. Okay, so inhale, trap that air low. And with 10% effort, we're going to internally rotate into our yoga block here. So and again, if the ball mat wasn't there, I'd be going here. So with 10% effort, building up some more. 30% effort, 50. My hand was here trying to rip your hand off the yoga block. You wouldn't let me. 70% and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort, externally rotate. Squeeze that ball. Try to peel yourself off the bench if you can. I'm getting a little bit of distance here. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Try to stay in the position the best you can. We got another set. Just kind of catch your breath. On that rails, I'm going to come out of it, but stay in it. On that rails effort, we're trying to find that posterior shoulder stuff. Back of that shoulder, peeling off the yoga block if we can. All right, round 2. Inhale, trap that air low. 10% effort starts to internally rotate into our yoga block. Heavy on the elbow, heavier on the wrist. 30%, 50%, 70%, 80, 90. Safest, greatest effort today for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort, trying to rotate off drive. Don't let the rest of your body move. Don't cheat with the rest of your body. Stay safe, stay in that position, and find that posterior shoulder for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back down. Take a breath. Whew. Come out of that. We're going to switch to the other side. Okay, this time with my left hand, I'm going to get you out here, show this angle just so you can really see what's happening verbatim with my shoulder here, because that's the most important piece. Okay, because when we stack ourselves into it, go out and get into the stretch, wrists are right underneath the shoulder, the elbows right out to the side, hips right on top of my knees. And already I can feel this side is so much tighter than my right side. My right side felt pretty good, but this side feeling a little bit stiff. Staying into the stretch, find the stretch. You want to find it in that posterior shoulder. If it's too much, if you're feeling it in the back of your shoulder, which I am a little bit, maybe bring it down. That automatically made it feel a little better, because again, we just want to feel it on our front side. Front side chest tissue. So inhale, trap that air low. First round, squeeze that ball if you have it and start to internally rotate into the bench. Find that front side stuff and rotate from there. 30%. 50. If I was grabbing your wrist, trying to rip you off the bench, you wouldn't let me, because that's how hard you're rotating into the ground. 70% and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort, trying to rotate off hard. Find that posterior shoulder, rotate off. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice. If you notice, I didn't go as far, and that's why it felt weird to be on that yoga block, because I needed to be down a little bit farther. My range of motion is definitely not as high on this side. Okay, so I hope you get a better angle here. Okay, round 2, safest, greatest effort today. Inhale, trap that air low. 10% effort, start to find that chest tissue. Rotate into the mat from there. 30%, 50%, 70, 80, 90, everything you got for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort. Find that back of the shoulder. Pull from there. Don't let it come from the wrist. Don't let it come from the elbow. Back of the shoulder only. Squeeze and rotate. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And down. Whew. Coming out of there. And relax. All right. So we got the bench out of the way. Come back. Now we're going to do some exercises to get into that shoulder. We've got 2. We're going to go external rotation off the ground in a prone position, similar to how we were on quad, but now from the ground. We're just going to do lift-offs And then we're going to do hovers, and followed by a plank challenge with our cars, okay? All right, so meet me on the ground here. Let's go right side first. Let's use the right side. I'm going to use both yoga blocks here. All right, so we've got our elbow on one and our wrist on the other one here. So head in our hands. Straight out to the side. Now we're just going to do external rotation from this position, lift off. So we're just coming here and right back down. When we do this exercise, we want to make sure that we're not lifting off too far. If we're way up, we got to start a little bit higher so that when we rotate, we're just rotating off just a little bit. If you're not rotating off at all, start down a little bit so that you can have somewhere to go from. Okay, so we're just doing 10. So inhale, trap that air low, find that posterior shoulder, and rotate. 1, 2. I'm going to reset here because I'm going a little bit higher. We talked about that the first time I did the pails and rails. Right side felt pretty good. Inhale, trap that air, rotate, hold. 1, 2, 3, and down. Keep that scapula down. Don't let it rise. Rotate. Good. 4. Up. Down. 5. Up. Down. 6. Up. Down. 7. Last 3, really going to try and rotate here. Challenge yourself. Up. 2 more. Up. Last 1. Up. Whew. Okay. Now we're doing hover. So dropping it down from where we were. Okay. We're going from one side of the yoga block up, extend, and down to the other side, up and back across. Okay. So starting with that yoga block, somewhere that you can go over. I'm going to have it here. Inhale, trap that air low, down and back 6 times. So we're up, over, and down. Up, over, and down. Again, if you can't do it this high, you can drop it down or have something even lower than that. Okay? So that's 1. Up, over, down. Up, over, down. That's 2. Up, over, down. Up, over, down. That's 3. Find that posterior shoulder. Squeeze, rotate, extend, down. Rotate, flex, down. 2 more. Squeeze that posterior shoulder. Rotate up as high as you can. Extend, down. Up as high as you can. Flex, down. Last one. Squeeze that posterior shoulder. Come up. Down. Last one. Squeeze, up and down. So, and again, both sides are not going to be the same. They're going to be a little bit different. So set up accordingly. I talked about this in my first one. It did not feel great on the left side like it did the right side, so I'm just going to do the lift-offs from this position. Okay, so we've stacked. Now again, the reason that I have these yoga blocks here and I'm not off to the ground is so that my elbow is at a neutral position. You can see that from here, my elbow is down a little bit. This elbow position gets me straight across in a neutral position. And same thing here. This starts me off here. Now, but if you can't, go lower so that you can actually get some lift off happening. Okay? So inhale, trap that air low, squeeze that ball as much as you can, find that posterior shoulder, and rotate 1. Rotate 2. Rotate 3. Up 4. Starting to move okay, so I'm going to move up 1. Ooh-wee. Rotate 5. Squeeze. Keep your scapula down as you rotate. 6. Squeeze. 7. Scapula down. 8. Mine's trying to rotate and do all this kind of stuff here. Keep it down, squeezed away from your ear. Up. 9. Last 1. And up. 10. Good. All right. So doing our hovers. I'm going to start in this position and kind of see how we go from there, okay? All right. 6 of them. Scapula down, inhale, trap that air low, rotate up, extend, rotate down, extend up, flex, down, that's 1, extend up, 2, rotate up, flex, 3,
rotate. Take your time. Find that posterior shoulder. Keep that tension going. Rotate up. Last one. Find that posterior shoulder. Rotate high. Extend down. Rotate. Flex and down. Whew. Nice job. Okay, getting those out of the way. And bringing back our bench here for our last exercise. So to challenge, we always say we like to use the cars to save the space. So if we can imagine our mobility classes set up similar to like a weight lifting day, when you do squat day, you're going to warm up, do some exercises, do something very intense, then accessory work, and then a cool down, right? That's kind of the same stuff that we did here. We warmed up. We did a very intense set of exercises, getting close to our 1 rep max, if you want to use the same terminology, and then did some accessory work. Now, our cool down is going to be saving the space with cars. The reason we do that is because we just got a lot of good stimulus in that joint, and now we want to put that joint for that full range of motion so that it knows what it feels like now with this new work that we have put in. Hopefully it feels smoother, gives us some extra range, all that kind of stuff. And that's why it'll save the space, because now it's going to give us our body a chance to see what it feels like to use that space and deal with it accordingly. Now, this incline plank to car is tough, okay? It's meant to be a little bit of a challenge. It's meant to, be a little bit of an intense thing at the end. If you can't be in an incline position, just go into all fours. So, meaning that we're gonna do push our car from here. So from here, we're going to do our full car. If you can't get in this position, well, just come down here and we'll do our car here. The reason we like to do it on all fours or in a plank position is just give it our body a little bit more weight to deal with because of gravity. Okay, so it's a little bit easier here than bent over. So let's go ahead and get into our incline. We've got 4 total, okay? Front and back. So we're down into our position. We've got a good strong base here. We can be kind of wide to help with balance. Locking our left arm out first. Flex, find that end range. Internally rotate as I reach back. Same thing in reverse. Kick back, externally rotate. Find that stuff that we just worked, up and over and down. That's 1. Flex, internally rotate as I reach back. Don't let yourself open up. So tough. Straight into X as we reach up and over. Fumbling my words because it's tough. 2 more. Start with our arm locked in. Go into flexion. Hit that end range. Internally rotate as I reach back and down. Extension into external rotation. Up and over. Last 1. Working really tough. Don't let anything else move. Find that posterior shoulder. Up and over. Nice job. I'm going to flip this baby around. You don't have to move. Just go into your other side. Last thing of the day here. Hips down. Find that good position. Lock that right arm out. Go into flexion. Internally rotate as I reach back. Down to neutral. Extension. External rotation. Up and over. 1. Keep those hips down. Flexion. Internal rotation. Reach, 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 reach. Down neutral. Extension. Internal rotation. Up and over. We got 2 more. All the way. Reach back. Down to neutral. Everything's burning. I'm out of breath. Can't cue you. This is tough. Last one. Flex. Internal rotation. As I reach back, keep that scapula down. Engage that posterior shoulder. Externally rotate with everything you got. And coming down. Whew. All right. I don't know about you, but I'm sweating a little bit. Good job today. Let me know if you have any questions. Your shoulder should be burning. See you next time.